welcome to another live edition of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I'm your host, Wize, and I have a very special guest. She's a personal growth and positive change. I'm messing this all up. Hold on. She's a certified professional mindset coach dedicated to empowering individuals' lives to their best. Welcome to the show, Kate Glendon.
Hi, how are you? Yes, I am a life and wellness mindset certified coach, and I'm so happy to be here with you from Glendon Coaching.
Okay, so what got you started on and in this field? Because you started in 2022. What inspired you to want to be a coach and help other people?
That's a great question. Yeah. So I am definitely new to the field, but come with a lot of experience working 20 years in public health, which is all about changing people's behavior and having the ability to work in group settings for weight loss. But then I wanted to kind of take it more to my own personal journey. As I was realizing COVID was ending, a lot of my work was related to that and protecting the people's health. But at the same time, I was, trying to be my personal best, but I was living in the fear of myself, others, and life, always doubting myself and never realized that like I had total control over my thoughts and feelings. Um, kind of playing victim to my circumstances. And I didn't want to be that way. I didn't want to show up as that. And the person that I wanted to be, the person who had time freedom, achieved their goals, had pleasant relationships, couldn't keep living like this. And so I was in constant flight and fight, stress mode, you know, didn't want to go to work, was just generally in a state of panic. And so I had to find a way out of that. And I first started, taking courses on mindset work and how the brain worked and, how to kind of develop that future memory and vision of yourself, like achieving everything that you want to feel from. So taking, where I was living in fear and doubt of my own shadow to being confident in my body, soul, and mind. And that's kind of where it came from. So I kept digging deeper and deeper and understanding that like I hold the power and that my validation doesn't come from, another professional's opinion of my worth. And so many years I was looking for validation in others instead of myself, whether it was personal or professionally. And I was like, I can't be the only one that feels this way. And I have to do something about it because there's so many females out there that, are really wanting a positive career for themselves. And they, may not know what to do because they just feel stuck and comfortable. And I was very comfortable in what I was doing in my career for so long. It was close to home. I knew the people, right? But I also knew it wasn't the best place for me. So I had to kind of realize and do some inner work to get to the next best level, which is how I was able to open Glendon Coaching. Because after I went through my own life coaching work and took the program, I became certified in it to help others.
So how do you define personal growth, and why do you believe it's important for individuals to prioritize their own development?
So, yes, personal development is very unique to everyone and what they consider their goals. But, to not live a lukewarm life or to settle, you have to want to take yourself to the next level on the ladder, right? You kind of want to keep reaching higher and higher to your full potential. You could just do the rinse and repeat, wake up, go to work, come home, maybe you work out, maybe you do things with your family, but is that like really living? So a lot of the times with my clients is like, what is your desires in life? Like, what are some things that you want to do or these someday goals that you want to achieve? And let's dig deeper into how we can get you to achieve them because that's personal development. It's, taking something that you want to do and actually doing it and not just talking about it, not just reading about it or consuming knowledge about it, implementing it. Like if you want that deck on the backyard, let's get it done. Like let's keep not talking about it to everyone for the next 2 years, or you really want that career change, but yet you don't look for other jobs. So, you can say all these things, but it really comes down to action and discipline to take the steps to, work on that growth. And it's scary because everyone doesn't want to see that they do have some things they need to work on. They're not perfect. And that was a hard, thing for me to swallow is, oh my gosh, like I need to reset. Like this isn't working. I'm not showing up the way that I want to. I'm doing everything but nothing at all and not achieving my goals. And I think in life we compare ourselves so much on social media to what other people's are doing or how happy they are. But and we all can say, oh, they're just highlights of their life, but like it can really affect us mentally to see that other people are progressing and we're just, not even checking things off our checklist.
So, what are some of the common obstacles or challenges that people that work with you are trying to make positive changes in their lives?
Great question. So some of them just like want a career change, but they don't know how. They have never like thought about the desires of what they could have. They're just okay with what they have. They're comfortable. Everyone, is like, is this really it? And some people are like, no, I want more. Could you really consider yourself doing what you're doing and living for the next 10 years? Or is there another way to do it to make you feel more fulfilled and more content? So some people come for career changes. Some people are so overworked and distressed that they need, to help reframe their mindset so they can have more possibilities, positive thoughts, and content. And some people are stuck in weight loss and they need help with exercise and movement. So we really focus at Glendon Coaching on the whole body of wellness and getting focused in your mind, in your body, and what really aligns with your soul. And it's so important to have a future memory so that when you're working towards your personal growth or taking actions towards your step, you're working to this desired outcome that you have created in your mind.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I understand that. That does make sense. So, can you share some strategies that you would implement in helping your clients achieve some of those things?
Sure. So a lot of the things that I always ask my clients is why? Why do you want this? It can't just be something that's on your to-do list. Like I really want to organize my closet, or I, need to, clean my house more. It has to be something that scares you. So it has to be a goal that, gives you something what we call like an uncomfortable feeling, like you're a little bit nervous, you've never achieved it before. And that's great because when you are nervous or afraid or uncomfortable, that's what we call growing. And so, and able to create that change, you have to grow internally and outwardly. So, what that looks like is developing a desire list. Like, what is it that you want to accomplish in the next few decades of your life? What does that look like? Why do you want to do this? Why do you want time freedom? Why do you want to feel better in your body? What is that going to create for you in the end results? And what is preventing you from doing that? What have you tried? Because everyone has a story. So, I like to know, like, what have you tried before? What worked? What didn't work? And what would it look like for you to have that goal achieved? What do you need to do every day? And how do you show up as that person that's already achieved? So it's a lot about taking responsibility for your own actions. We are responsible for our thoughts and feelings. No one else is. So we can't blame anyone. We can't blame time and we can't blame overwhelm. Those are just excuses that we tell ourselves to feel better for us not reaching or taking action that day. And it's really important to kind of brainstorm like that person that is at the next level, what do they do and how do they show up to situations? So if they're going to a meeting where they're running it and they want to be a director, how would that director show up, prepare, and respond? So a lot of it is kind of showing up as that person that they want to be. What would that person who wants to eat healthy do at a holiday party for 4th of July or at a picnic? So it's kind of just brainstorming different things. And then also that calendar integrity, like writing things down on your calendar that you're going to do each day to get to that step and showing up and doing it anyways and not putting it off. And we always like have tasks for each day and they're not all fun, unfortunately, but we have to do them to get to the greater outcome and to remember to stick to the goal. You're not always going to see immediate results, right? Transformation does not happen in 24 hours as much as we wish that it did. So we have to give ourselves patience for that as well.
So one thing you touched on was making yourself uncomfortable, and that's something that a lot of us are guilty of, is being complacent, is not making ourselves uncomfortable. And you're absolutely right. When you do make yourself uncomfortable, it's a sign of you growing and learning. And that's what a lot of us are afraid of, is taking that next step of help entrepreneurs. So a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid of taking that risk, and because they don't want to fail, they don't want they're afraid of failure, or they're just afraid of trying because they don't know what the end result is. Like you said, a lot of people think want transformation overnight, and it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I mean, complacent is great because you don't have to do anything. You know what to expect. It's predictable, but yet at the same time, it's boring. And life could be so much more. And it's scary to change. Change is hard. And you have to kind of start, you have to, if you really want to grow, you have to be able to be willing. So there's one thing to be willing, and there's one thing to be wishing for another outcome. And wish and hope and dreams don't get you results because you have to actually show up and do them. People spend years pondering leaving a job, and some finally do. And it's because they were afraid. It was easy. It was easy to take that small commute. They knew the dragons they had to deal with, but it's not necessarily what they wanted in their life. So with entrepreneurs, like you have to take risks and you're going to fail. I think if you understand that you're going to fail, but these failures are lessons and that it makes you a better entrepreneur because you tried something rather than being so afraid of failing that you don't do anything. And, that's not going to get you anywhere where you learn from each mistake. It's not a failure, it's a growing opportunity. And that sounds easy, but sometimes failing comes with money and it's an investment and you have to stay with it. It's so much easier to give up when things aren't going the way that you want them. As for me, it's like I had to go in, like, what am I doing? How can I make this better? What am I not sharing with the world about my story? Or how am I not showing up the way that I want to? And so it's, not just posting something on, advertisements once. You have to always, having that contact with people, at least 82, 22 touches with the public for them to really understand you and building that trust. And that takes longevity. And so we must keep and stay motivated as much as possible, but also realizing that one day of not touching your business is okay because it gives your mind a time to reset, relax, and think differently and have a bird's eye picture rather being so stuck in the daily routine that you can't see outside of it.
So what are some of the things you do to help with breaking bad habits and creating sustainable lifestyle changes?
So with breaking bad habits, kind of looking at the person's habits in general. What I do is kind of have them write, 3 days worth of a regular routine for them and what that looks like, what they eat, the movement, their interactions, how they feel about it. And then how do we take that one habit and replace it with a good one? And is it sustainable? Some are easier, some are low hanging fruit that you can do, but and pairing it with another exercise so that they keep doing it on repetition. So, if they're, waiting for their morning coffee, is this a time for them to do some mindset work, journaling? Is this a time for them to kind of walk a lap around the street so that they get in a few extra steps, as well as preparing ahead of time, the food that they're going to eat, working in the morning with their mindset work of how they want to show up so that they're prepared for the day, mind, body, and soul. So a lot of it is working in the morning before you even step out the door, which requires you maybe probably waking up a little bit earlier than your household. Just sit in peace and contemplate, how you want each day to go, and what are things that are working to keep, and those other things is a slow change. You don't want to change too many things at once because they're not sustainable, but it's very easily to kind of pick one or two things that you do. So, walking 10 minutes before work or 10 minutes after just to get someone to move more. It's really unique to each person's situation in changing their habits that, they feel good about, because I don't want to ever change someone's bad habit when they're not ready. And then we work with them on why, what is this masking? What's behind this? Is there something you're afraid of? Is there, some sort of perspective or something you were told when you were younger that you're afraid to do this? And we carry these paradigms of what people have told us is right or wrong, and these stories about dieting, like not eating after 8 p.m., that we hold on to, which might, or simple things about what foods are good and bad, and breaking that. And a lot is through education and finding out why they feel this way, and then helping them see it in a different way.
So you touched on journaling. Um, what is it? What is your advice to someone who feels like I'm not a writer? This is something I'm not capable of doing, because that's something I dealt with at the beginning of journaling, because I felt like I can't write. I'm not a writer, and
So
so for me, it was I had to keep a pen next to me and a pad, and really try to be like, you know what, let me write something here today. At least try something, and it just and it grew from there.
So I totally get that. I have avoided journaling probably for majority of my life until I realized maybe the thing that I'm avoiding is the thing that I most need, right? Journaling, I didn't want to see my feelings. I didn't ever want anyone to see them. And if I, I could just think, I could just listen to something and think and journal, whatever. So for people who don't like writing, or, are insecure about it, there's talk to text, like, where they can just, instead of journaling it, they're using a voice message. But just start. So I restarted my 30-day challenge of journaling, where I listen to some message and I write how that feels. And then I also write, like, what are my leading feelings? Like, what did I wake up feeling? In regard, like, is how do I keep that feeling going for the rest of their day, or how do I need to change it? And how do I want to show up today? Like, what are the things that I need to accomplish? And if there's like an interaction that I'm nervous about, or a meeting that I'm, uncomfortable with, or not looking forward to something, like, how can I change that perspective and show up in a different way so that I have a better day, right? Because it's all about how we want to feel. And if we're feeling good, that's all that matters, and that will transpire to others. So it doesn't have to be long. If you've never journaled before and you don't like it, just journal for 30 seconds each day for a week, and then add a minute. And it could just be, just doing an audit of how you're feeling, how you want to feel, and three things that went well. and you could, bullet points. You don't need to write sentences. Some people don't. It could be one page. And it's nice in the morning. It's also good at night to reflect on the day, and if something didn't go right, rewrite the story for you so that you have peace with it and feel better about it before going to bed, or come up with bullet points to tackle that in a different manner. So journaling, was a love and tough relationship with me so I get it. But the more that I do it, the more it's easier and the more that I like to do it. And I'm hoping that after I complete, my June 30 day of journaling, that I continue it. And I hope that my clients also, when I launch it in July, take part of it, because I want to go through it first. Someone who loathes journaling to being able to love it, to explain to people that there is a way to like journaling and it's different to everyone. So people can write it in their phone and then delete it out of their notes so no one will ever find it. So there's all ways around it.
Oh, no, there is. Like I said, there's people who start off saying, I'm not a writer. I can't." And that was me. That was one of my things, is I'm not a writer. I can't write. I can't do anything. So once I started journaling, I started gaining a little bit of confidence here and there, and
Yeah,
I was actually able to write my first blog this year.
that's
So,
great.
so
Yeah,
it,
we tell ourselves these stories like we're not writers, we're not good at this. I mean, I've said that to myself before, but there's evidence to prove otherwise. So we have to remember the facts instead of the thoughts that lead to our feelings, because that leads to not taking any action if we don't think we're good at something, instead of just trying it and keep trying it. And then eventually you'll see that it works and your blog is great to show for it.
and it was a topic I love talking about, which is podcasting. So it was me getting comfortable with what I was doing, and then realizing, hey, I know I have something I can talk about. I have something I feel that I can share with people, and it was a great feeling to be able to have it posted and stuff.
Yeah, and so that just keeps the motivation going, and that's what we want, right? Sometimes we don't see the hard work that we're doing until a little bit later off, but then that helps us and helps my clients like keep progressing, right? Because they have a win, and we must celebrate that. Every week that you do it for 5 or 7 days, celebrate that, because that's different than how you were a week before. And how do you feel in between the 2 weeks? Sometimes it's just clarity. You feel a burden. We call it sometimes, like, I don't call it journaling, call it a brain dump, right? Everything that's going on in your head,
Yeah,
get it out, especially before bed so you can sleep soundly. And it's a very easy practice, but and totally underrated. And doing that really shaped me and helped me become a better person and a better, wife, friend, professional, and a life coach. And I think that I encourage people to do it. There's, mindset sheets that I have available for those that sign up for my newsletter on my website. And it really just guides you through the process. You don't have to think, you just write with what comes up.
yeah. It's for me. It's just been being able to just make myself uncomfortable doing things that I normally don't do, and just continuously doing them and continuously doing them and doing, and it's just helping me improve overall. It's me wanting to grow. So, like you said earlier, it's being uncomfortable. It's really it. That's what it's really is, making myself uncomfortable doing something that I had. You mentioned it as well, being programmed, that there was something programmed in me that kept telling me I couldn't do it, and me breaking free from that, and being able to show myself that I can do it.
And that's awesome. So when's your next blog coming out?
Actually, I'm working on it now, so it should be
See, that's
out
great.
before the end of the week.
So, I mean, you are a product of journaling and learn, you gain confidence by doing things in repetition. And that's really important when setting new goals and habits is that it's repetition. The more that you do it, the more that you incorporate it. And sometimes you have to write post-it notes. In my calendar, I had to write journal, you're journaling. And so I showed up and I did that. And, that may seem like very basic, but when you're someone that doesn't like something or doesn't or forgets, it's in your, you get an alert. Okay, I'm doing this at this time. And then you see the results of how much better that you feel and how clear you are getting towards your goals. And so that's something that's so important for people to do because our old paradigms will tell us we can't change this happen. You've tried everything, nothing's going to work. That's not true. You haven't tried everything. Sometimes we just have to go in and pull out the whys and why you think that and who told you that and how that is not true through the evidence and facts that we talk about in our sessions.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is something you so how do you recommend your clients start their day?
How do
'Cause
I
I know yeah.
how do clients really start their day?
How do you recommend your clients start their day?
I think, depending on everyone's schedule, just, I prefer and I implement myself as I wake up. I'm a coffee person, so I get get my coffee ready. But I just do to kind of get me awake. So I do a 5 to 10 minute meditation, and then I sometimes read a couple expert pages in a book. A self um, reading book about how to achieve goals or something like that. There's always plenty of books that I can suggest for people. And then moving on, so your brain's awake, you're kind of awake now, moving on to that mindset sheet work. So showing up and doing an audit of your how your day's going, always writing at least one grateful thing for that day and how you want to show up. What action steps do you need to do today to be the best version of yourself? And I mean, that, and there's your 30 minutes. So I think, setting your mind right and kind of, limiting those noisy paradigms or stories that kind of will come up. And then you get like something done during the, before you even start the day. You have that inner reflection work and it sets you up for the whole day. And I think that's so important. And then, if you can move on to, body movement and preparing, a healthy breakfast. And I think that is so important because once you have a routine, your mindset and your journaling work will grow even more based on different things. And sometimes I recommend quotes for people. How does this quote make you feel? What comes up for you reading this? And then writing about it. So it's always good to acknowledge your leading thoughts because sometimes we're still dealing with the clutter from the day before and we need to process that so that it doesn't creep into the next day.
And yeah, that's something that I've learned within the last few years is that you need to take time towards the end of the day to reflect on what you've done today, what you've accomplished. Or did you accomplish what you set out to get accomplished today? And that's something I wasn't doing before. And so now it's something that towards the end of the day I reflect like, did I get accomplished what I wanted to get accomplished? If not, how do I get it done the next day with and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like what was the reason? What was the barrier to getting that done? So that's a lot of the times that we talk about, what happened, that goal or that performance didn't get done. And it could be just life. It could just be we didn't plan and we weren't disciplined. Or, it was a tough task and we just didn't feel like doing it, right? We all put things in our calendars that we don't want to do. And we really need to do them no matter how we feel. And maybe we have too many things on our calendar and we have to kind of take some off and move things around.
So So that's something that I know I'm working on. Is definitely scheduling. Is working out my schedule so that I get accomplished the things that I want to get done.
Yeah, and I always like to say like the day before, schedule your top 3 things that you need to get done. The hardest, the middle, like a hard task, a middle task, and an easy task. You can warm up with an easy task, get something done, and then move on to the hard task. And don't, push that off for the rest of the day because it will burden you and just kind of tackle that. So if you just have 3 things to do and you're prepared to do them because you've set them up the day before, you have automatically 3 things you're going to accomplish. And that allows for other things that flow in during the day.
So how do you measure success in your coaching practice, and what brings you the most fulfillment in what you're doing?
So measuring success in my coaching practice is seeing my clients kind of make that switch to, okay, oh, I didn't realize that these were stories I was telling myself that was preventing me from taking action. So getting them that clarity, that roadmap to get to their goal, and then seeing the wins that come along the way, whether it's forgiveness to a partner, to a success in preparing food for the week, taking what we talk about in our sessions and actually doing it. And I think that is the most rewarding thing for me, is that seeing my clients' empowerment of their life and how they are feeling more confident in themselves because of the work that we're doing together, and that they achieve that, best version of themselves. So that is really important for me to see. And then, how I can help them if they're stuck, we stay in that area until we figure out what's going on to get unstuck.
Okay, cool. What advice would you give to someone who is hesitant about seeking coaching or even making changes in their life?
I think that, you're not alone. Everyone, is like that. Life coaching, they may not know that it is, and they may not be ready to take that action. But, what I always say is like, how much longer can you live like the way that you are living? If you can't see yourself, feeling or acting like this for another week, another month, another year, it's time to just, get some clarity about what you want and where to go. I always offer a 30-minute complimentary session just so people understand what it is, because they may not know, because it's not therapy. It's about progression forward. So taking where you are now and moving you to where you want to go. And it's really based on the client's needs. And, we really focus on that. What is it that you want help with, or what areas in your life, financial, career, love, relationship, health, that you really want to work on? And health and mindset and movement are, and getting to your next goal, or is my specialty in moving them along in that way. And I think that with anything, this helps anyone with personal growth, and to give it a try, because they're going to see a result and they're going to see a difference in their life. But you have to be willing to take that risk and get uncomfortable to grow. And, most people have life coaches, have mentors. They just call them different names. So call it a coach, call it, someone to help you guide you along to the next level of your life. Um, Whatever you need to do to help you get, the personal work development, inner development that you need.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. With as far as the mentors and the coaching, if you want to get to a destination, you want someone who's been there. You want someone who knows how to get there to show you the way. So that's why it's important for you to have a mentor, have a coach who's done what you want to get accomplished, and have them show you the way. Because if you don't know the answer to it, why not have someone who's done it before guide you. There's no shame in accepting guidance from someone to help you advance.
Exactly. Like, don't be the person that doesn't stop and ask for directions and you just get stuck trying to, figure it out on your own. You get lost. Like, everyone asks for help along the way, whether it's a friend or not. You know, everyone is, getting assistance, whether it be mental health or, financial help. This is just someone that's going to benefit your life and that has real life experience and real results. So why not? You have nothing to lose and everything to gain, but staying stagnant, you're losing out on yourself.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. But this has been wonderful. I appreciate you being a guest on the show.
Yes.
But now it's you get the solo screen, you get to promote, let everybody know where they can find you, everything.
Sure. So I welcome you to go to my website, glendoncoaching.com, where you can sign up for a free 5-day health and wellness newsletter, as well as see all my previous podcasts and blogs, and then sign up for your complimentary coaching session. It's so important to be a part of that, to learn about life coaching and how it can benefit for you. And then don't forget to sign up for my private Facebook group called Vibrant Women's Wellness, and you get support of other people. You get healthy recipes, exercise tips, mindsets, video clips, and free trainings for me. So it's super important. You can follow me on Glendon Coaching on Instagram or Glendon Coaching on Facebook. Reach out and let me know how I can help you. You can also email me at kateglendon@gmail. I would love to hear from you and answer any questions that you might have in getting started. I would love to make a roadmap for you to achieve your goals and live the best life, because you have that choice to live life the way that you want to.
All right, thank you so much. This has been great. Like I said before, um, but don't leave just yet. I'm going to close out this show, and me and you can
Okay.
chat a little bit off the air.
All right.
And yeah, but this has been great. Thank you once again for being a part of the show.
Absolutely.
All right, now it is time for shout outs. Big shout out to Ben from the BS3 Network for stopping by. Good afternoon to you, Ben. We're airing live on the BS3 Network as we speak. Big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Randy J. Love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady, Fina. Appreciate and love you, baby. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless you. Be safe. You know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.